Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Thursday morning, April 4th. How's everyone doing today? Let's see who's here. Good morning, Patrick. Yes. Happy lots of Fed speaky speak today. Hey, Heinrich, how are you doing? Good morning, John. Good morning, Sterling. No news today. I think you must get tied up at work. Good morning, Mark. Here's Sterling now coming in with the initial and continued jobless claims. We'll take a look at those in a second. Good day, Eric. Good morning, Jacob. Hey, Richard. Yikes, must be spring up with the sun. Where do you live again, Richard? Uh, no sun here. It's been snowing and cloudy and horrible. Ugh. So, what's the size of the actual India market, though? That's what's so fascinating. I mean, how many people in India can afford a Tesla? Good morning, Daniel. Good morning, McRangers. Why are consumer staples being hit? I don't know. I don't know that yet. Good morning, Legion Reaver. All right. Sorry. Been up for already 4 hours with the dogs today. It's been a long morning. So, we had continuing jobless claims, initial a little higher than expected, and still climbing recently. Continuing jobless claims better than expected. 4-week average is 214 versus 212 forecast. And then what's today? We got some bill and note auctions, but really, it's Barkin, Goolsby, Mester, Mucelex. I didn't know that Mucelex was part of the Fed. And Kugler, and who else? I probably missed somebody. Oh, yeah. Marilyn, thank you for reminding me. I'm sorry. I'm just tired. Ripple to launch U.S.-backed stablecoin. Oh, fantastic. More, that's what we need, more fraudulent stablecoins. Okay. All right, that's great news. So we got lots of Fed speak. What did people think of Powell's speak yesterday? I thought, again, he was... I can't listen anymore. I just can't listen. He sounded very, very dovish. Like, whoa, they're shooting from the hip. They don't even have a plan. So I want to know what they're going to do if inflation gets sticky and climbs a bit, because commodities have taken off. And unless there's a crushing blow to commodities, there's going to be, and you already saw it with the manufacturing prices, which then ripple through to everything else eventually. So there's the ripple effect. We'll have to see. I think hope is not a good plan for the Fed, and I think they're in hope mode. All right, everything's pretty green this morning except for Google. As buy everything, rotation zone in the S&P's held nicely. So we'll take a look at that. Oil's poised for a pullback, running out of steam. Gold's running out a bit of steam. Copper hitting a very key level, and dollar pulling back. So far the groups, let's just do a quick refresh here. Technology, consumer, cyclical, financial. Leading comm services, just with Google being down a little on the pullback. But only energy and comm services are down today going into the open. Fed Watch tool is still a pause in May, and the cuts in June climbed after Powell. So still 3 cuts priced in this year. Fear and greed still hanging on to greed mode with the bounce. Where's the Schiller PE now? 34.60, still nosebleed territory. All right, nothing in terms of earnings, just to be complete. And that was the NASDAQ. So this is why you had that double barely trigger come down to that the stop area and then rotating up. It's technically, let's see, has the official stop would still be 53.07 on a closing basis, 53.16. This is a lower probability. I'm just looking at these key numbers. We're already through 52.96. Next one's 53.09. So watching about 52.94 to 52.96 on any pullback, 53.09, and then 53.20, 53.21 are the key little levels today. We're really, especially after the jobless claims numbers came out, there you go, just took off to the upside. It's party on, everything's okay. We're going to have rate cuts, and the Fed's going to save the market. And you see here, this is the key pullback level, this 52.94 to 52.96 area. That's exactly what I'll be watching. If it pulls back below that, I'm going to 52.84, 52.83 to 52.84, and then more so right around the 52.71 area. NASDAQ, which was interesting. We had a double yesterday. Double yesterday coming up. This was a tricky one to trade because it was momentum. But finishing all the targets there, and now just continuing on forth. Back above the 62.5 now, so that's going to be key on the closing basis, 18,518. But the next intraday level is 18,582. Also remember, non-farm payrolls are tomorrow. So it's looking like the rally in the non-farm payrolls, but 18,582, then 18,645 are the upside. Key support 18,455. And then you got about 18,400, 18,391 to 18,400. The Dow hitting the first target area, and sloppy, horrible, lopsided reversal pattern. If we just put on these targets, though, for the upside, and those would not be them, they'd be these, you roughly have 39,770, 39,835, 39,900. The key area to watch for is really this 39,835 to 39,852 on a continued rally today. The next key level beyond that for a closing basis is 39,978. So pullback area for the Dow is coming into about 39,550. The Russell also, this again was it. This was really, I'll show you why. You see this with the extra hitch in it. I'm just putting it up for targets, which is already through. It paused out at that. So the next key levels, let's flip around this. Let's flip this real quick. Remember, the Russell's in consolidation, but next intraday targets 21.18 and then 21.30. Key support coming in about 21.04 to 21.06 and then 20.95. VIX dropping substantially. Again, little mini double top pattern right here, which I'll note. Oh, sorry, it was not. It did not go up high enough. I thought it was. I misspoke there. 1375 is the key level to watch for today. The DAX, here's your pullback. This is now the secondary reaction. So it already bounced off 18,670. The key thing is 18,712 on a closing basis. Other than that, 18,670, 18,712 is the rollover zone. You want the close above 18,770, 18,712 for the bullish area. And finally pulling back to the upper end of the rotation zone. So this is the secondary reaction after the first sell-off. So it's really, you want to watch that close above 18,712. The notes, not really doing anything, still holding the key support, but nothing to change the pattern. The 10-year has pulled back to key support. Just below it is the rotation zone. This does nothing to change anything, but the official stop now, the official stop is all the way back at 4.02 on a closing basis. Dollar index, substantial pullback right here. This is starting to do some technical damage. I'm going to be watching where it closes today. Watching where it closes to see if it holds the rotation zone or not. But we've got the against key resistance, the pullback, the next key level, the next major support is 103.35. Start dropping below 103.35, it won't be looking good. But the rollover point is officially 103. Crude, trying to pause up here. No great pattern just yet. I'm going to be watching for any bounce play, and then if it rolls back through this 84.80, start eyeing the pullback in the short term. And the next key level would be about 83.85. Gold also trying to get a little toppy. You still see now we have the third push higher on the 4-hour time frame, third push divergence. So I'll be watching for some bounce and then roll over play in this too. But it's still trailing stop from my perspective. Still trailing stop. The major support level is back at 22.62. Silver coming up to the next major harmonic, this 27.50 area, and then reversing. So silver's also overdone in the short term. I'm going to be watching against the 4-hour rotation zone to see if it gets a bounce up here and sets up a stronger topping pattern. Remember, the trend is still up. I'm just watching for these topping patterns for potential pullbacks. The key support in silver is all the way back at about 25.95 to 26. Copper finally completing the 87.5 rule. 87.5. So yesterday hit the harmonic, the minor harmonic, and pulling back and closing at the levels I typically use for stop raising, and then coming through to hit the 87.5. So key support now in copper is back at 414. The next minor area in copper is 428. The next major is 435. Then I'm doing the reverse harmonics to that high at 435 to give 445 and then 456 if it can break out about 435, but it's getting into a very significant topping area. What else do we have? The yen still basing sideways, still basing. So key support now 150.78. If it starts breaking below there, this base at highs will be broken. Other than that, watch and see if this can break out, if something can trigger a breakout. Euro bouncing now through. What you're watching, what I'm watching for, not you, what I'm watching for is 108.85 on a closing basis. If we get a close above there, we'll target a bigger, I will be targeting a bigger dollar pullback and more strength and more follow through strength. We are in the rollover zone, so I need the potential rollover zone, so I need to see this peter out somewhere in here with a pullback pattern for any dollar strength case. Spiders coming down to the rotation zone, closing up, confirmed, but the double has not triggered. And now with this gap up, 523.16, we'll be taking the double that never triggered off the table. So, rotation, respect the rotation zones. They're there for a reason. Any pullback, 522.60, then about 521.50, then about 519.50. Keys to the rally side, 523.50 and then 524.61, and then using the reverse harmonics from the bottom of the rotation zone back to the high the other day gives us 525.63 is a minor level. The more significant level is 526.64. The Qs, which had the upward close, remember that does not officially trigger a double. The double was confirmed and then reversed higher, and we've had two upward closes now. And catch it on the 62.5 yesterday and then rotating back up. Remember, between the 50 and the 62.5 is the key catch point. Just taking this off for now. So we can do the retracement harmonics. So 446.44 is where we're looking to open. 446.50 is roughly the 75% harmonic and the prior key topping area from before, multiple spikes up here. And then 447.93 and then the 449.34. On a pullback, you see even the pullback area, that 445 to 445.10 and then 443.70. And then roughly about 442.20 to the gap fill. Bitcoin still, the double top is still valid, but has not confirmed or triggered. The key area in the short term to watch again is 69K. Tesla does have a potential double bottom. In the short term, though, on any rally with the India pump is for a gap fill is 175.22. It's trading 170.20 going into the open. And from my perspective, unless the double triggers, I'm watching for rollover plays. NVIDIA, still no close below the 62.5 and holding the rotation zone. Little gap up this morning. The key breakout level is this 905 level, and then it would be back to 920.41 and 936.16. The closing basis is still 888.91. But you see, this is why the rotation zone is a very key element. Even though it's flattening out, we do not have a close below that or the 62.5 yet. But the double top, potential double top, is still in play. What else have I missed? What else? Good morning, Anissa. Bloomberg to run a million sim. Okay. Fantastic. I don't think they need a million simulations. He just wanted to cut end off. Oh, for Powell, yeah. Summary of Powell yesterday. People believed we will reach 2% on inflation, so we will. That's bull crap. And why are people that's jeez. My head is gonna explode. All right, now what happens? I know there's a bunch of people thinking we could get disinflation or deflation if we get a bunch of layoffs, but what if you have a bunch of layoffs starting to ramp up and we have very sticky inflation? What's that called? Not saying that that's going to happen, but with commodities rally, and thanks to Sterling also pointing out I haven't looked at the core makeup of this, but just as I assume, and that's probably my fault to assume, but it's just trucking along from the inflation standpoint. Okay, so and the Goldman Sachs commodity index. Here's the Goldman Sachs after, remember, we haven't looked at this one in a long time on the channel. But holding the major key support, completing the double top pattern, okay, and now even the Goldman Sachs one, look at the reaction. So you had up to 62.5, pull back to 50, catching on the rotation zone, key close above the 62.5, and now marching higher. So even with probabilities with pullbacks, still that 610 and then 623. And then if that really takes off, I mean, you still got the major area is 671. So keep an eye on that too. That's SPGSCI. Take a look at Paramount. It's now story stock doers rumor now confirmed potential buyout. However, it also is a well-deformed weekly daily double bottom. I appreciate all the long-term people pointing stuff out and sticking with the channel because a lot of people have already learned a lot of stuff. I appreciate you showing up every day, everyone here. I really do. Appreciate you contributing. What makes the channel? Yep, that is very good. So that is a very clean double bottom. A very clean double bottom. Still needs, now there was, was there a front run? Yeah, there was a percent B buy. It's interesting. There's a percent B buy back on Monday. You see this? Percent B buy against the rotation zone on the week, and that was a weekly. That was a weekly percent B buy. So, as long as it really doesn't drop below 1125, that's still holding at this point. So, you know what? And you're against the daily 200. So, another key area to watch for. Again, can't give you specific trading advice, but if we come back up and break above this 1373, there could be, you see the reaction. This is an area of reaction. Let's do the little reverse harmonics. I mean, not the reverse harmonics, the little retracement harmonics. And look at that, the 50% right there. So you start breaking above this 1383, I'd be watching 1475. You close above 1475, could be another front run pattern to the double. You have to manage that. It's not a given that the double would ever trigger, but why do I look at these things for potential front run patterns? Even a pullback. You see this area right here? Look at this very key area. This is what I call, and Bob would call, a significant level. See how it held here, break, and then it became resistance with some key closes? Gapping above it, pulling back, holding a little gap below, but then a gap back above, and you see retesting that level multiple times. Breaking below it again, coming up, reversing strongly, and then the rocket moved through it. So right around this 1250 area is very key. That's where it's poised to open. That's a key pullback to a significant level. Now, if this level doesn't hold, that's not as good in the short term. But that's a very key area to watch for. What else? Also, as a book value, $34.50 is trading at $12 per share, which also makes it a good takeover candidate. I mean, Paramount has been a good takeover candidate for a while, so we will see. But that's your little pattern. That's that I would be watching for. I do not have any stake in Paramount, but this is also very, very key support. Very, very key support. You see the massive run up and then the bleed out back to massive support here. Let me bump these levels down. You see here, that's massive support right there. All right, with that, let's just peek back at the stocks, at the futures, the E-minis. Oh boy! All right. Well, the S&P looks like it could be headed to triple top territory. After catching on the rotations, I'm just going to pull this off in the short term. Nothing really new. Let's take a look at that short-term chart. Little overextended into the open. So what's the key pullback area going into the open? Going into the open is about 52.94 to 52.96 is the key pullback area I'd be looking for. So that's where that sits right now. Not seeing much else in the chat. So we'll call it an early day. Again, we have, let's take a look tomorrow. Don't get caught off guard because, not that one. Here we go. We have non-farm payrolls at 7:30 Central. So we'll see if this, if the last month is revised lower, this month will it beat? And with the last month revised lower. So that's where we stand. We're looking for roughly a 3.9 unemployment rate, non-farm payrolls to come in right around 200K. Oh, and then we got more Fed speak. Fantastic. I need a mute button for the Fed. All right, everybody, have a fantastic trading day, and I will, hey, thanks, Legion. Good luck, everyone. I will talk to everyone tomorrow morning. Bye for now.